Hi, I'm Pam. Welcome to Sabras Radio. Now, today I've got a special treat for you. I have for you the man who's given us some amazing films. Yes, I'm talking about Job We Met, Love Ajgal, Rockstar, and more recently, my favorite, Amar Singh Chamkila. Yes, I am talking about the filmmaker. The man himself, Imtiaz Ali, is joining us today on Sabras Radio. A very warm welcome to you.
Thank you, Pam. Nice to be here.
Oh, it's lovely to have you with us. Now, first of all, of course, thank you so much for your contribution towards cinema and keeping us entertained, not forgetting the music. But we're here today to talk to you about something a little bit different. One of your recent films that released is now being shown at the UK Asian Film Festival. As I'm talking about My Melbourne. So I've got a lot of questions for you about this. But first of all, tell us about My Melbourne.
Well, My Melbourne is an anthology of four films based on the lives of different people that live in Melbourne and are not really connected with each other. So the stories are not really connected to each other, yet they have a moral connection as they are about inclusivity and being different, in terms of gender, in terms of abilities, and all of them are positive stories. So, loosely put, there are four different filmmakers that come and curate four different stories and make them based on people that live in Melbourne. And there is a consistency in spirit in the movie, but especially in the fact that it allows you to see the world in a much more inclusive way.
Allows you to see the world in a much more inclusive way. Well, I like that. And we need more of that in today's world, of course. Now, something that struck me about this film is one of the things that makes it different from your other projects as well is we're not just talking about Indian characters here, are we? The story is not just based on NRIs, Indians outside of India. You've gone for different cultures. Can you just expand on that a little bit? What made you want to do that?
So the film that I am involved with is not really directed by me or written by me. It's directed by Arif, and but the movie is about the story is about an Indian girl who's married and has come into Melbourne, who feels who has a home and who has security, but she feels as though she does not belong here. This character is kind of counterplaced against a homeless lady who is an Australian person, but a homeless lady has no home but feels at home.
Yeah.
So the interaction between these two ladies tells us many things about belonging, about being included, about thinking of others in an inclusive way. So that really forms the basis of the story. So yes, it is very different because it's not really a story of NRI characters. The film that Kabir has made has no NRI characters. In fact, it has NRA characters because it has people from Afghanistan, migrants from Afghanistan living in Melbourne. The film that Rima makes has no migrant characters at all.
Mhm.
So it's more to do with the migration of somebody from being not included to included. That's what it's really about.
And it's interesting, of course, the story's called My Melbourne. And that in itself, just the title, My Melbourne, it indicates belonging.
Yeah,
You know,
that's true. That's a nice point. I think, although we didn't do it deliberately, but that's what it is really, that Melbourne is a character in this film, and Melbourne plays a part in the lives of these characters.
yes. And of course, the film has just been showcased at the UK Film Festival, Asian Film Festival. And what's made you want to showcase this film here in the UK at the UK Film Festival?
The UK Asian Film Festival is a very prestigious place. Lots of people come here and look forward to the films that are showcased over here. We've been trying to reach audiences all over the world, the kinds that will be, so to speak, the prime motivators or the prime target audience of this film. I think the UK Asian Film Festival is going to help My Melbourne reach many eyeballs that we want the film to reach. So very excited and thrilled at the prospect of My Melbourne screening at the UK Asian Film Festival.
Yes, of course, as you mentioned, it is something that we're very, very proud of here in the UK, the UK Asian Film Festival. And of course, it is the longest running Asian Film Festival here as well. So, but the story that you've just described there, especially of the Indian girl that goes to Melbourne and, she's married there. This is a universal story. This happens, I'm sure as people are listening to this interview, watching this interview right now, they can relate to that. A lot of people are still coming over, married over here in the UK as well from India, Pakistan, Bangladesh. And it's a story that, people can relate to in terms of displacement and then finding that identity, finding that belonging.
It's true. I'd like to add something to this. And people that don't even get married and come to another country, but just women that get married.
Yeah.
There is a very sensitive topic in the lives of all of them, and that is the control over finance,
Yes.
or how money and monetary power controls them. People that live in rich households, even people that live in upper middle class households, women sometimes don't have financial independence. Sometimes they are earning money, but still they don't have ownership over it. And they cannot actually tell themselves that they can stand on their feet and take decisions on their own. I think that becomes the subconscious drift in the film called Jules, which I have steered.
Yes. Yes. A very interesting point that you've raised there as well, because I think legally as well for women coming over, if they're coming over when they're first married, even if they wanted to, they can't just work. There's a process, there's a procedure that they have to go through before having the right to work here. I mean, I'm just talking UK alone. Of course, your story's based in Australia. But something else that struck me, Imtiaz, about this film as well is it's done in multiple languages. Tell us more about that.
Yeah, that's we've stuck to the language of the character. For instance, in Kabir's film, there is a lot of the Afghan language, Dari, that
Yes.
they speak in Afghanistan, because the characters speak in that, and if people of a family speak, then they usually speak in the native tongue. The beauty of My Melbourne is that we've stuck to that so that it looks natural. And
Yes.
I think the world after COVID, one of the advantages, the very few, have been the fact that people have become more tolerant to subtitling, to dubbing, etc. And
Yes.
in fact, there is also the provision in My Melbourne to be understood by people that have challenges in their perception abilities. So it has got you know
Yes.
the ability for them to enjoy the film.
Wonderful, wonderful. Well, it sounds like a real celebration of diversity, showcasing people from different cultures, different languages. It's a story that we can relate to, even here in the UK. I mean, I'm of Indian origin, but born here in the UK, raised here in the UK. And, we identify for others as well, we identify with both. So identity, I think it's a huge theme, especially in today's world. But I have to ask you, of course, you've given us some amazing projects. One of the things that I mentioned right at the beginning was one of my favorites, Amar Singh Chamkila, Punjabi Heritage. Can't help myself. Absolutely loved that film. But, moving forward, what can we expect from you next? Just to finish off quickly, what are your goals as a director? What can we look forward to seeing from you?
Well, I'm very excited to see what happens when you watch my next film, particularly. And I can't talk much about it, but hopefully you'll watch it, and you'll let me know what you think. I'm going to get into making a movie very soon. You'll be getting on the set pretty soon, but I'm not really able to talk about it as yet because we haven't spoken about it yet, and we'll do it at a certain time.
Wonderful. Well, we look forward to that as well. Any plans
Any
to do any
plans to what?
filming in the UK? Anything, any projects over here?
But hopefully soon again, because it's been a while since I shot here. That I did in Love Ajkal, but nothing after that. Hopefully soon.
Yes. Well, we look forward to it. But thank you, Imtiaz, for your time. Thank you for talking to us today at Sub